PositiveMindset.tv, where each week we delve into the mindsets and see how they create our experiences. From our finances, our careers, our children, our health, our relationships. Hi, my name is Leesa Myers, and I am so excited to have you here with us today. Today we have a special guest, Bob Kittell, and I'm just so thrilled that he was able to say yes and be with us today. I met Bob at National Speakers Association Mountain West Division, and he talked about memory improvement, and I'm going to read a little bit about what he says. So, as a graduate student, Bob trained over 3,000 college students for free in order to develop and hone his skills as a speaker, and to teach students practical time-saving strategies to recall information quickly and accurately. Since then, he has trained tens of thousands of college students at over 100 major universities how to memorize with his company, Ultra Memory Systems. Currently, Bob serves as a volunteer for BYU Athletic Department as a memory specialist to prepare the athletes for their academic tests. So again, welcome, Bob, and thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure.
So first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself. So who is Bob Kittell?
Bob Kittell is a guy who grew up in Buffalo, New York, came out to school, struggled through school, found some techniques that helped me with memorization, and I thought, geez, why doesn't everyone know how to do this? And I don't know, every time I learned something really cool, I go, oh, God, I want to tell everybody else about it. Then I found out I was really good at telling a lot of people about it, and just kind of grew from there. So that's my passion, to teach people things they don't already know that I discovered. Wow.
So, you know, I mean, my belief is that what we say is what we're creating. You know, our thoughts are creating our results. And so I throw this out here and I try to counsel it, but I am really good at numbers. I'm good with, you know, remembering data, but when it comes to people's names, I am at a loss. And on your paper it says that when you have introduced the powerful memory strategies, both students and teachers marvel as they memorize information during your presentation, including the original 13 colonies of North America and the 27 amendments to the Constitution. So how, you know, I mean, how do you go about that? As soon as somebody tells me their name, seriously, it's gone.
Well, how many times have you ever repeated the name right after they said it?
I don't know that I have. So that's a trick, huh?
Yeah, well, actually, rule number one is get the name. Because you're saying you never captured it, you never didn't remember, you never knew it in the first place. So if you're introduced to someone and they say, hi, my name's Mark, I go, Mark, where are you from? So what I just did was I said the name and I repeated the name. Then what I do is I take the word mark and I turn that into a picture, like a marking pen. Then the third thing you do is now I'm focusing on the facial features and I'm going, okay, what's the first facial feature that jumps out at me? Perhaps it's his nose. So with Mark, he's got a big nose, so I simply shove a marking pen up his nose and, well, try that. Can you see yourself shoving a marking pen up his nose?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you, what color was the pen you shoved up his nose?
You know, I didn't think of the color except for his yellow hair that was on your picture.
Well, I want you to close your eyes and see a marking pen going up his nose. What color is the pen?
Black.
Okay. What I had you do is just look for detail, which gets you to focus in even more. And I'll take students through, 10, 20 people just like that, and they'll be able to remember everybody's names. So it's just getting you to pay attention, capture the name, focus on the face, because your natural memory is picking up all kinds of information too. So I just got you to pay attention.
So how did you go about then, like with the 27 amendments, the 13 colonies, what is it that when people come to see you or when you go into the training, what do they get, what do they experience?
Well, it's kind of interesting. Just yesterday I had 4 of the volleyball players at BYU that are getting ready for an American Heritage test. And instead of saying, okay, the Second Amendment is right to bear arms. Second Amendment, right to bear arms. Well, let's take the number 2. If you visualize the number 2, it kind of looks like a swan, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Called the resemblance peg system. So I said, I want you to take a swan and I want you to put it on your bare arm. And then I have them close their eyes and see that swan on their bare arm. Or number 1, you know how 1 looks like a post? You can see my hand right there, right? It's freedom of press. So I said, everybody press down the post, freedom of press, and see a little face talking, freedom of speech. See a bunch of churches at the bottom for freedom of a religion. And then next to the post is a little boy assembling some Legos. Now, your visual memory lights up a lot more of your brain than simply going and repeating something over and over again, like the Second Amendment is right to bear arms, right to bear arms, right to bear arms. You know, it's just not nearly as effective. So I took them through 27 amendments. 3 of the 4 girls got all 100% of them correct the first time. One of the gals missed 3 of them, but then she had them down.
Wow.
And even with rhyming, okay, so 24 door, all right, 24 door. Okay, so you visualize a door. Pole vaulting, the 24th Amendment is the poll tax. So just little things like that. And then with the first 13 states of the United States, I did an assembly with 750 students, and we're standing there. I'm standing there in their auditorium, and I said, just connect information to something you're already familiar with. So I have them all look at the door that they just walked through. And I said, well, there's deli wear, and then there's underwear. Let's go with deli. Leesa, if I said deli, what's the first thing you think of?
Where you eat.
A what?
A deli, where you eat.
Okay,
sandwiches.
Okay, a sandwich. What kind of sandwich?
First thing that came to my mind was pastrami.
So see a bunch of pastrami sandwiches all over the door coming into the assembly room, okay? Above the door was an exit sign. It's Pennsylvania. I have them throw a bunch of pencils. The whole auditorium, all 750 kids are pretending that they throw pencils at the exit sign. And then I say to them, what color is the pencil? See how I'm getting them to focus and see the picture? Well, once again, we went through the states, and then I had them all repeat it back, and their teachers literally marveled, looking at each other going, you've got to be kidding me. These kids remembered it hearing it one time through. And that's what's fun. If you want to know what turns me on, it's watching these kids have that little light bulb go off in their head going, oh my heavens, I can do this. Because that's what happened to me.
So how can people find out more about this? Where can they go and learn more from you?
A building called I Teach Memory, which is really easy to follow or to find, iteachmemory.com, or if they can remember how to spell my name, bobkittell.com, and have all my contact information there.
And I know that, like, you have some CDs that you created. Is that true?
It's DVD.
So is there a program that they can buy, or what is it that they would do?
Well, I have a DVD that they can either buy or they can download, and it's the actual training. I've done it over 100 universities. And by the time they get through watching it, I tell them, show your kids, because their kids will laugh, they will giggle, but they'll memorize over 100 bits of information, terms, definitions, formulas, equations. I go over names and faces. It's a lot of fun. And that's the key. Make learning fun.
So where can they find this DVD?
They would just have to contact me at bobkittell.com. Or I could speak to their groups. I do schools, high schools, elementary schools. I do that for free or for students. I will come and just do a presentation for them for fun. Probably taught 5,000 kids in the last year for free. It's been a lot of fun.
And do you go nationwide, or because for free kind of is hard to get you there, isn't it? I mean, your time is very valuable.
If the school wants to pay for the airfare, I'll go back and do the assembly for free. If I happen to be in that city speaking, I do it for free anyway. But there's a couple schools in New York, West Seneca East, John F. Kennedy High School in the Buffalo area. You know, they open up the doors. If I say I'm in town, they go, come on in, teach all of our new kids that haven't heard about this before. Because I also have a motivational talk. And did you see that?
No.
It's just a lot of fun where it teaches kids to understand that there are consequences, setting goals, finding their passions, being the student, and finding your teacher. So that's a really fun assembly, too, that I do for kids.
Fun. So what are some of the exciting things that's happened to you because of this, going down this path?
Well, it's like all my dreams have come true. I've been on the biggest stages in North America. I spoke to 30,000 people in the Georgia Dome. Probably in almost every major basketball arena around the country, I've gotten to speak to 17, 18,000 people. I mean, I never thought that would happen. And it all started because there I was in college, and I went, you want to get experience? Go do it for free. So I walked into an anatomy class, and the professor gave me 5 minutes. I did a demonstration. His whole class came to my free memory seminar because anatomy's tough. He calls me back 2 weeks later. He says, the class you taught just blew the curve for my other 2 classes. Will you please teach my other 2 classes? And I had no idea that doing all of those freebies for fun would turn into a business where I did it all over the country. And then, I've spoken on all kinds of things, and it's almost come full circle where my kids have grown older. I have a lot of free time, and I actually have a lot of free time, so I just look for ways to go teach kids for free. So, yeah, that's, my dreams have come true.
Wow. So in speaking, as a speaker, and this could be whether you're professional or just getting up to say a speech and so forth, memorizing, different parts of your speech. How do you go about that in that aspect? I mean, to kind of memorize and understand the speech that you're giving?
Well, there's 2 different things. If you're using a PowerPoint or a keynote presentation, I'll take part of the picture or what I'm showing. Like I might have a picture of 2 of my kids, and I will visually connect some information to one of the kids, then visually connect some information to the other one of the kids to remember what it is I'm going to speak about on that particular slide. If I'm doing it without that, I actually take a 3x5 card and I just put keywords, because the keyword will remind me of what it is I'm going to talk to next. It's like I've told, when I've done this for retirement homes, I go, look, if you're going shopping, you don't have to sit there and visualize carrots on top of your head and cabbage coming out of your nose. I mean, just write it down, because the dullest pencil is keener than the sharpest mind. I mean, let's do what's practical, what's makes sense. And, with a speaker, if he can hold a 3x5 card and it has 3 words on it and it reminds him of what it is he's going to talk about, that's great. Because the best way to give a speech is not to say it word for word. It comes out too canned. I think it's to go from topic to topic and express it in your own words. To speak from your heart instead of just speaking from your head.
I want you, just by what you've been saying in that, so I remember the name Mark, and the black marker, and the red and the yellow hair. So, hey, there you go. Already.
Wait a second. Here's the big test. I've got a poll. What did I do? It's freedom of what?
Pressure, freedom of press.
Press. Okay, somebody was
speaking.
Yeah, freedom of speech. Yeah.
And church, something like that. Was the church or pews?
And all the kids were throwing something at the exit sign. They were.
That was the deli.
Okay, there's the door, and then the pencils on the exit sign. Good job.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So if they go to bobkittell.com, is there a link there? Or do they go to your contact page? How do they get in touch with you?
They can just go to my contact page, and they can just go ahead and send me an email.
And just say, I want the DVD? Perfect. And then do you have any books, what do you have available that I want to promote you? So what do you have available for purchase, or?
And I've struggled with this. I put together a memory workbook, but if they just watch the DVD, that's the quickest way to learn it. Because I find just reading a book, if you get in front of me, I'll keep your attention. I have a friend who said, my kids won't sit down and listen to anyone, and they sat there watching you, and you had to memorize 15 things right off the bat. Once again, practicality. Watch that DVD. That's the quickest way. And, I guess I could sell books in all these other ways, but right now that's all I'm doing. I think the DVD is the quickest way to teach you and your children.
Absolutely.
And I want you to learn so you'll share with your kids, because that's what it was all about. I went, do you know, if I could have just learned this earlier? That's the number one thing students say to me. I wish you would have come along earlier.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, because we're always taught to learn something, memorize it, test it, and then we forget it. And, you know, so you get out of school and you think, what have I learned? Because I've forgotten most of what as soon as you take the test, you're on to something else.
You know what's kind of fun is with these practical memory techniques, I think memorizing quotes are important. So I went ahead and memorized a couple hundred quotes. So in my demonstration, I'll say choose a number from 100 to 200, and I'll have them all up on the screen so they can see it, and I'm not looking at it. And somebody, well, go ahead and give me a quote. Choose a number.
Number 56.
Okay, sorrow can take care of itself, but to experience true joy, we must share it with someone.
And so tell us how you learned that one.
Well, it's the same technique as with the number. Number 1 looks like a post, 2 looks like a swan. There's a phonetic system for remembering numbers where you can turn all numbers into pictures. So to just be simple about it, let's go back to number 2, which looks like a swan, or let's go 3. 3 looks like a pitchfork, right?
Okay, yeah.
Let's take a pitchfork, and we have my father holding the pitchfork. Okay, so a key word is father. A father who gives his children habits of industry and education provides for them better than giving them a fortune. So somebody says, Bob, what's quote number 3? I go, 3. Oh, that looks like a pitchfork. My father, and I tell you the quote. So that's a quick way of telling you how I do it. But you know what's really cool is I can teach everyone else how to do it too. And I go, why isn't this in every school system? It just drives me crazy. But
because you can't be in every school system unless you've got it trained. Well,
there's all kinds of information out there, but for some reason it hasn't disseminated into our schools yet.
No.
Here's another quote. What do we live for if not to make life less difficult for those who follow?
Exactly. I love that. I love it. So I want to again thank you for being with us and for taking this time. I do know how valuable your time is, and I just really appreciate this. Is fun, and I look forward. I am going today, and I invite everybody listening to go today and download and or contact Bob so you can get that free DVD. And again, thank you for that gift. Wonderful gift. And we will also be talking with Bob a little bit more extensive on our Blog Talk Radio show, and that will be April 28th, 10 a.m. Utah time. And that'll be on the radio show, so I invite you to check that out at blogtalkradioshow.com/Leesa Myers. And again, Bob, if there's, would you like to leave our audience with one more bit of nugget?
Well, one of my favorite quotes is, I'm not what I should be, I'm not what I could be, I'm not what I'm going to be, but I thank God I'm not what I used to be. So just get better each day. That's it.
Thank you, Bob. And again, thank you for being with us. And again, if you like what you hear, please share it on Facebook, on Google+, on LinkedIn, and catch us here again next week. And remember, you are better and the world is better because you're in it. Thank you.
Thank you.